The Python is mainly known for to work on the data. So Python means data, used for data process. So the data can be in any format. So up to now, the format that we have used. So the very first beginning, we have start with a simple variable. Then after that, we are worked on a string where we take one group of character together. Then after that, we'll start working on the collection Python, that is a list where you can store data, this kind of. Then we worked on the tuples also, where the round brackets are used. Which initially working on single data, then we worked on list, tuple, set, dictionary. And then after that, we worked on file data. So mostly the text file. Then after that, we have worked on the Excel or CSV data. EXCEL, Excel or CSV data. So to work with Excel and CSV data, which model we used for this Python module? The module name is what?
What? CSV.
For reading CSV data or Excel data, we installed one module, right? So what is that module name? Even you have done the task also, no? I have taken your test also.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The
We
CSV.
Which model we use to?
CSV module.
No, no, that is the data format. Now, model name I'm asking about the model name. Like
mm,
Matplotlib is
Panda.
a model. Yeah, pandas. Don't forget it. Whenever there is Excel or CSV, always remember to deal with the Excel or CSV, there is a model called pandas. So up to this we have reached. Now, first is simple data, string data, listable dictionary data, then text file data, and Excel data. In this all data format, we have done many kind of program. We worked on file system, we worked on listable dictionary, we worked on string function, we worked on variables, and last 2 3 lecture also we have worked on Excel, where we can able to read the Excel data, we can filter out. There are many built-in functions, and even from the one Excel data, we can generate another Excel also. So now there are two data type is remain, and that is uh, also used. The first one today we are going to start, that is API based data. Okay. So in Python, there are two more data sets are there. One of the data is the API based. So we understood what is the API and how to API. We already we have done, but we need to do some revision to do that. And after that, the one more data set is pending, and that is nothing but your database. Okay, so that is the last part. We can directly deal with the database. And have you remember anything about database? To talk with the database, which language is needed? We have done that training, but if you're able to recall it, for storing data into a table, right? We have done some. We install the one of the software also. Have you remember
In
that?
PostgreSQL.
Exactly. So we need a SQL here, right? So these are the two part. And if you reach from this single variable to the API and the database, if you are master or if you have to get clear conceptual idea how to deal with all this data kind, so trust me, in the next 10 year or in 15 year, these are the only thing will be remains. Means all things should be in the API and the database only. And if you understood at this early age, so all the future will be get secure. Because 90% nowadays the data is a travel in the form of APIs. Every application, you can take your WhatsApp, you can take your Instagram, YouTube, or any social things, Facebook one, everything. The data travel with the help of API, and API is come from the database. So these are the two things. The mostly the data is get traveled. The larger data. The in string will store a small data. In text file, there is some more data. In Excel, there is a more data. But if there is a more data than the Excel, then we need to go with the API or database. Right? So today, the first part we are going to start to deal with an API. Now, first of all, we need to understand what is the API and how exactly it works. Okay. See, the general idea of API is nothing but the first of all you should understand. Have you remember the full form of API? If you yes, otherwise I will tell you. Okay. Okay, no worry. So API stand yes. Anything if you remember, you can tell.
Application.
Yeah, A stand for application. That is correct. And
Uh,
then
Maybe programming.
yeah, programming. You're
Interface.
guessing. Yeah, exactly. The application programming interface. So this is a full form of API. And this data is in the form of JSON. API response in the form of JSON. Now, have you remember the JSON full form? JSON is what the JSON full form of it. Okay, no worries. So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Okay, it's
Yes.
JavaScript Object Notation. So remember, the JSON is not a programming language, it's just a data format which is used to travel data over the internet. Okay, JavaScript Object Notation. So now we are getting that API means something application programming interface, which response should be in JSON format. It's give the response. API response is in the form of JSON. So first of all, we have to understand the JSON. Okay, and then if you remember, what is a JSON array or the JSON object? So it's a long time we have studied the web development while studying, but that is important part because API used in every technology. Okay, fine. So the API means what? There is a something technology is used which is directly connect to the database and it will fetch the data from the table and that convert into the JSON format. Means let me tell you the one of the examples so that you can understand. Let me open a URL here. So if you remember this, okay, COVID. See, this is one of the API. If I hit that URL, you're getting the response. So this response means your JSON data. So this is an API which giving the response in the form of JSON. Okay. And the JSON mostly contain the three kind of data. So if you remember, or I don't know, but you can just tell me if what is this data? What is the summary? And what is the regional here? Okay, no worries. Yeah, if you remember something, you can tell us. Otherwise, I'll tell you. The square bracket represent what?
Function. That
Function
this
is
is a
no, no, function is that is round bracket. It's not a function.
oh, yeah.
So it is basically array. It represents array. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's simple thing for understanding JSON. What you need to understand, whenever there is a curly bracket is there, that is known as JSON object. Okay. And whenever there is a square brackets, it is known as JSON array. Okay. So see, the Python code is very easy to read this data. But what is the important things? If you get the multiple API from the anything, so all that API have some response. To get particular data from this JSON response, we must need to have understand that how many object, which data is present in which object. For example, if someone gives you some API, like this is simple, like they can give you, and they can tell you, okay, do one thing, get the total from the given response. But if you have, we must understand where is the total present. This total present in the data object. In the data object, there is a one more object called summary. In that summary, there is a total is there. You cannot get total directly. To reach up to total, you have to go through the object, and then the key value. So this is understanding is important while working within database or API parts. Okay. So now we understanding that this is one of the API URL and this data is giving the output in a JSON format. Remember, if this URL is made, then there is a something server side script is present and the database also. Okay. So if I try to explain this simply diagrammatically, just remember. So whichever the response we are seeing here, this response, so this response not directly come. For the response, there is something server side script is there. Okay, here something server side script they have written, and this server side scripting is directly dealing with the database part. So whichever the data we are seeing here, there is something database is there. In the database, there are some tables are there, multiple tables. Tables holds the data. This data can be read by some server-side scripting language. This is server-side script. Okay. It is server-side script. So there are many technology which is used at server-side script. So, for example, PHP is there, for example, JSP is there, for example, ASP is there, and we have worked on JSP. If you remember that, we are sending request or getting response. But generally remember, whenever you are saving this, that means there is one of the folder and there is a file called stats. Within that, there is a one of the file called latest. In that particular address, this file is get executed, which get the data from the database and it is giving the response in the form of JSON. Okay, so this URL means this is available at somewhere server address where one of the script is there and that script directly dealing with the database. So now if we have the URL and that's giving the proper JSON response, then our API is working. So like this API is properly working. So there are many API. If you remember, if you go into the root file, you'll come to know there is API for the India. You can see there are multiple URLs are there. These all are the API. For example, if you want to state-wise count, so you have the state-wise count also there. See, history is there. Then within history, there is a total count is there. Okay. Means there are many API and every API is having a common response that is a JSON response. Okay. Now our target is to fetch the data or read data from this API. And to read this data, JSON data in the Python, there is one module exists and that module name is request. Okay. In the Python, there is a module. You can start installing the request module if you are connected with the laptop. Okay. And RV last time I told you to how to install that modules. Brahmajit laptop is directly get installed with it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You follow the same process. You have to go with the IDLE, then the folder, then the file location, again file location in the script. Open that entire part into the command prompt and then try pip install request pip install install request. If this not work directly, go with the python dot exe the minus in then pip installed request model. It's a request, huh? Not request. Means there is s is there. pip install request request. So this model we need, which is help us to read JSON data. So let's go to a command prompt. If it is not directly work here, you can try the melee solution also. Let me write python dot exe minus m pip pip install rnstall. Which model is the request? request request. What problem spelling? Python python python.exe minus m pick installed a request. Okay, so means iron system is already there, so there is no need to install again. Fine. So let's start doing code. So the very first part, what we'll do, we can import that module. Let me take a new file. New file is there. I will just save it in our folders. The folder name is cool. Let me create API.py file. Very first part, I will import request requests request. Then we need something URL means where is API that present. You can take any variable name, if not exact URL. So we have one of the API this, and this API is giving this response. Our very first target is to read data as it is, means whichever the response it's giving, read entire response as it is. Okay, fine. So for that, we have one of the module. Okay, for example, one variable I take, there is a module name called request. You can give here dot request dot get. So request dot get get. You can get data from this URL. Right? And that data is a form of the date JSON. So dt is equal to, I will make that rs dot JSON, because whichever the request data we are getting, So that is in the form of JSON only. First of all, just print the data, entire data, anything. So let me print print dt. Let me run this first of all, whether it is working or not. Let us check. See, it's showing the output. This part. See, so just by using the request module and the API parts, so any URL. So I'm having a request.get to get the data from this URL, and that data should be in the form of JSON. So we are having now all the JSON data. Now from this, we should extract this some part of the data. Means in the JSON object, then there's JSON array, and there is something key value pair. Then we can extract data step by step. So this is the first part you have to remember and how this works. Fine. Up to this, okay? Any doubt still here?
So can you repeat the code like from which you have to install?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So see, basically the installation part.
Yes. No, I know like just the Python.x.
Yeah. So in your case, what you have to do, you have to go with the IDLE. Okay.
Yes, I opened in the administrator one.
No, 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 no. Not administrator. You have to go with the open file location.
Yes.
Okay. You're done.
Uh,
Open file
yes.
location. Again, there is a IDLE. Again, you have to click right click and again go with the open file location. Done.
Yes. Yes.
In that, there is a script is there.
Yes.
And see the about title bar here. So
Mhm.
you can open like CMD. So the entire that path is get open up to the script.
Yes, sir.
And now simply try pip installed requests. PIP installed request. REQUSTS request.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. It's
it's work
installing.
fine. So Ramajat, you can also try. I think in your case it will directly get installed. You have to tick that part while installing. So that is a good thing. Okay, fine. And once you
Yes.
install, just a 3 lines of code and boom. See, it's just a 3 lines of code. Means this. You can directly write this URL here also, but for the separate purpose, I'm getting some even to some other variables. So request dot get URL that JSON data and you're printing it. So this is the first achievement. We can able to extract the data from the API. But now how to get the specific filter data. Means what? Suppose if I want to read data of total. So total is simple one of the variables. So how should I get the total here? So remember to reach up to total, you have to first of all go for data as a JSON object. In that data, there is a one more object called summary. And within that summary, there is a total, confirm case in India, foreign, discharge, date, all the variables are there. So the very first part, we need to reach up to the data, then summary, then total. So how to filter that data? Let's see now. So see, let me side by side, we can see this code also. Okay. So basically, in a data, we are having entire data as it is. So what will I do? Within that data, I want to first go for JSON object. And what is the JSON object name is? data. This is JSON object. Within this object, there is a one more object called a summary. So I'll use one more square bracket, single quote. What is the summary? Is SUM, so SUMMARY, summary. And within that summary, what you want to print? You want to print total. TOTAL. Must be the same spelling, whichever is there. So to reach up to total, we have to go with up to a data object, in summary, then total. Okay. Let me run now. If I run this program, we must get only one value, that is called total. That is 9 also. Let me close it first and then run once again. So can we have the total here? Perfect. See. So only the totals. Why are we getting total? Because we are going for the data, then summary, then total. Suppose assume that if you made a spelling mistake here, instead of total, you have written TTL. So will it work? It's not going
So,
to work. Error. So it will undefined error will get. See what it's saying. So there is a key error TTL. So there is no such a key is there. Okay. It's simple but fine. So
so,
you can, yes.
and can you also tell like where did you get the API from? The like and all.
API. Okay, basically there is a long process for the creating API. Up to now, as I told you, this is what the process happening. If some data is APIs means what some specific address. In that particular address, there is one of the script is written. In that script,
Yes.
some SQL query is there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me clarify. I have one of the API which is created by me only. But for that, I need to run that API. Okay, let me run it
No,
slowly.
sir. I'm asking that you found from Google, right? All
Yeah,
the.
yeah, there is a public API is there, which is Indian government is made COVID API publicly. So why I'm using this? Because you can also use the same, okay, for the practice purpose. If I use the Mind API, so that API, okay, like you cannot practice it because that API is available on my local machine. But I'll tell you one of the process. So just assume that I have, see, you can see that. So I have one of the file here, the DB. In that DB, if you can see, check that. So there is a, I use a Postgre database. This is localhost username password. And
Yes.
this is what the file where I have written the multiple APIs.
Yes.
Index.this here. So this is how the script is done in the background. See, I have one of the API called a contact. So here you can see the queries select star from contact. Means in my database there is one table exists called contact. From that data you can get all the data and convert that into data into what? This. Okay. So for creating API, this much script you need to write. Let me run this also so that you can have some clear idea about API. So API means at somewhere in the some script there is something written which is directly data coming from the database. So let me run this. So it will now run. So it's working on localhost port 3030 and the URL is what? Contact. See, now I can, this is a live API so that the root.api.in, but my API is on local machine. That is also this part. See, this is also the API, right?
Yes.
And even though you can call this also, Let me call this. What you have to do, so let me comment this because there is no object called data and summary. But this is common up to read all the data. So now instead of this URL, I'm using this URL. If I run this code, then also I'll have the data. Okay, let me run this. It takes some time, so it's working. Okay, maybe some request header we need to pass, but because I have my API secured once, I cannot give the access directly. So for that also we need to pass something header. So that's why it's not working. HTTP localhost 3030 contact request.get URL and JSON. Something header file I need to pass, but you can use any URL, online URL that will work fine because it is publicly made. See here I can restrict that API, cannot allow outside. Access control allow method. Okay. No worries. So you can call this API also, but as of now we are calling the. But at least you got the ideas. The APIs means there is some server side script is written, which is directly connected with the database. And in the API, there are queries written, and that query response they are converted into the JSON. So like this is a contact table, and the JSON data is get converted. Here is also the similar manner, but this data is API is live. That's why we are fetching here data. So first of all, we read entire data. Okay. Is something issue. We have changed it, right? HTTPS API root not yet. Works. Let me run once again. Hmm. This is JSON object we are getting. Fine. So now how much data is present here? Like we have confirmed case in India, confirmed case in foreign, discharge, death. And how we had that all the data? Same process here for the India case, discharge case, and death case. So reach up to the confirm case foreign, discharge date. First of all, you have to go for data and summary. Means data and summary will be remain same. Only the key is get changed. Up to total, there is a confirm case in India, and then we have confirm case in the foreign. We have proper discharged one. How many things are it discharged? There is one more content. So that also you can print. But this is your first things. You should, go up to the JSON object. This. So now we can have all the data at once. See, if you see the output, you come to know you're fetching all the data. Can we have data? Where we have data? Okay. Let me take one single screen so that you will understand how to access the JSON object. Right? So this is how we are able to get the data. See, this is a URL. And we call this API, there is a module is the request. From this URL, we're getting all the data we have converted into JSONs. And from that, we are printing total, confirm case India and the foreign. You can see that same data. How this data comes? So we are parsing proper data to reach up to that. Okay. So the very first target, we have to deal with JSON object. Okay. Once we have the practice, the JSON object, and there is one more concept is the JSON array. Okay. So let me fetch now the JSON array. Let's see. Oh, it's not entire screenshot is generated. Sorry. Let me take discard. Okay, that file is perfectly generated, right? One more code. This. Let me take a complete screenshot. Nice. You can try this. Okay. Now the second part is about JSON array. So let's me go with the JSON array now. Where we have script here. This. So now where is the JSON array present? Regional. So the regional is present directly into the data. Data because this is a summary part and the array is present in the data and the regional. Okay. So let's go to that array part. So how we can reach up to the array parts? So I'll take one of the variable, something L, and we need to JSON array, right? So first of all, we need to get how many array data is there. So get the length in the Python. Which function is used? If you remember, for getting length in Python, the function name to getting length, any length, string length, list length. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Which function is used to get the length in Python? Yes.
For for what?
Len.
Len, Len, right? So we can
Yes.
get the len, how many, because we have to extract all the array element one by one. So the first of all, we need to have a len of how we are getting data. Like in DT variable, there is an object called data, and directly we have array. And what is the array name? Is a regional. This regional. So I let me print the date here. P-R-R-N-T print L. So it will give me the length, how many elements are there in the. Oh, there is an error. Let's check what's the error here. Existing value line number one. It's regional spelling. It's all right. Data.json L is equal to len of dt of data, and then we have regional. Yeah, it's correct. Is there anything? LL, let me save this once again. Where is an error? Expected JSON decode unexpected column character 0. For reading JSON array, okay, let me comment it. First of all, the JSON object is working or not. Let me check. Oh, we had something mistake done. Like somewhere we have done mistake. Is there anything missing? Let us check. Import is there, URL is there, request got URL is there, JSON is also done, decoding also done. Then data is also printing. What happened? It's up to now it's working, right? Even I pass a screenshot also. Let me run once again. Mm. Somewhere we done something like any special character or some which get added. Is there anything we done special? Everything is correct, right? What's wrong? Well, let me close it once once again. Something we are doing mistake because you can see that in this WhatsApp screenshot I have sent you. That's working perfectly fine. Is anything is missing in our code? Today, at least our JSON object works, and tomorrow it worked on the JSON array. Let me verify once again. Is there any mistake we have done or not? It's request URL, JSON, total is there, confirm case, summary, perfectly fine. Sorry. Ooh. It's maybe like online things are some issue is there in that model because it's working, so there is no issue. Uh, Let me print at least data is working. Triple line comment. I'll give you the triple line comments. Triple comments. Let me print this data. PRINT print data. First of all, get all the data. It's still giving error, then there is something wrong. Okay. That is our not our issue. Option occurred. During handling the above exception, another exception occurred. Any mistake can be done. Import request URL. URL is also correct. Right? Some variable is equal to request dot get. Then you're passing URL. JSON. Everything is okay. And what's the problem here? Okay, no worries. So you can try this the JSON object, try to read. There may be something glitch. It's not the code problem. It may be something models problem is there. Okay. Can I try some other URL once for seconds? Because it's working. Let me go with some other URL for seconds. So like this, go something other URL, history URL. And server is okay. It's working right. Server response is giving forward. So let's go and then replace this URL with the other URL. It will run. It's getting times. Maybe the server issue or server busy with something else. Yeah, now it's working, right? See, okay, the amount of output is very long. Like there are 46,447, and there are something character which is expanding the cloud, make ideally slow or unresponsive. So this is what the problem we are facing, right? You're getting why you are not getting the data. Hello. So this is why
Yes,
because
sir.
it's
Yes.
the
Yes.
data output is very wrong. So that's why we are directly trying to print it now. Because we are printing to directly data. Okay, now let's with our data. Okay, that is something visual is there. Okay, no worries. We'll do it tomorrow. So try with the JSON object first at your side, this part, and tomorrow we'll focus on JSON array. Okay, I give the sample code and that is working. Try with that, and tomorrow we'll see the JSON array, how to get a multiple array. And after that, what is our task? Our job is to be extract data from API like this, and that data then we need to convert into the Excel file. Okay, this a mini project types means I will give you the one of the suppose API only this link, and I will tell you I want all this original data into the Excel file. Okay, so that also we can do tomorrow. That is a mini project kind. If you get any API, you can extract that data and convert into the Excel file also. Okay, that also we are going to see. For that means Panda and the request model work together. But very
Yes,
first part, how to load data URLs and how to pass data, and then we'll go the step by step. Perfect. So rest things will be tomorrow.